Good morning, everybody. My name is Kathy Henry, and I am your worship associate for this morning. Ben Gable is on tech. Ralph Bruckert is here to do the sermon. We have Ken Hermanot and Alex Myers doing music. Alex will be playing the piano later. And then Josh Berg is also here helping. And Star Austin, our virtual DRE, will be reading the children's message, or the message. We changed the name of it, A Time for Wonder and Beloved Community, which is a wonderful new name that we have for that time. And then we have a surprise visit. Well, it's no longer a surprise, from Eva Leventer and Yona Brewer. So those are the players this morning. If you have any questions, like it said in the video, actually, I couldn't see the video. So if you couldn't see the video, let us know that as well. I just recorded that last night, actually, and just sent it over, and it worked fine yesterday. So I'm not sure. It's one of those weird technical things. It's a YouTube video, so I'm not sure why that was an issue. We're going to go ahead with announcements. Okay, welcome to Northwest. Visitors are invited to stay after the service for our breakout rooms. If you've attended NWUU and you're interested in becoming a member, just contact Ben or our membership governor, Cheryl Goldberg, to electronically sign the membership book. Henri Nouwen, the treasured Catholic teacher, activist, and pastor, once described beloved community as the place where the person you least want to live with always lives. On its surface, it seems to be a straightforward reminder not to expect perfection from the communities we join and not to expect perfection from others. Indeed, it's a plea to stick with those troublesome others. Forgive them, accept them, stay open to the whole of who they are, not just the caricatured sliver of them that makes it easy to write them off. The sermon today is entitled, How Did You Get Here? Next Sunday, we've got I Love UU Beloved Community, Diana Kohler and Zena Stewart. Then Cast Off with Joshua Berg, and Repairing Harm, Truth and Truth Commissions with Mary Mueller. Canvas kicks off March 5th, and the Canvas Commitment Sunday service will be on Sunday, March 7th. We have survived 2020, we believe in each other, and we will thrive together in 2021. The virtual choir is available. If you want to sing with the UU choir, but you don't have time for weekly rehearsals, you can manage your time individually throughout the week. Ken will send you music to print out, sends files with each part, so you can practice and record your part and send it in. You just have a deadline because he needs to then blend it all together, but you can work at your own pace. All you need is a computer, laptop, or tablet with a smartphone, and you need earbuds. The service auction event, we have the 3D printing workshop, which is on Saturday, February 13th, which I know James is very excited about. So if you want to come join that, you can try your own hand at creating your own 3D model that Jason Bodson will print and deliver, or you can take part in a collaborative creative design project. And I can tell you, James already has plans for his own project. So the rest of you can collaborate, but he has his own thing. Youth religious education, the Chalice Weekly has been is a newsletter that's been going out to parents. The Children's Chapel is on Sundays at 9:30. Soul Matters theme group on Sundays at 1. Teen Space is on Saturdays at 7 p.m. Well, Saturday, February 20th will be the next one. Adult religious education, BIPOC-focused humanism, facilitated by Josh Berg. Well, the last class is Saturday, February 13th, and you can join one class. So if you want to come for the last class, you're welcome to. The Tao of Physics book study group, last class will be on Monday, February 15th, led by Dr. Alex Riegel. You can stay connected using your Breeze Church directory. If you need to find how to locate another member, and you can reach out to someone that you haven't chatted with for a while. Newsletter and website at northwestuu.org, and the YouTube channel shows recorded services. And you can also join the NWUU Facebook Friends page. Weekly meditations and morning yoga, morning silent meditation. I'm facilitating that Tuesdays through Fridays at 9 a.m. Morning yoga with Amanda Sporell, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9:30. Mindfulness meditation on Tuesdays at 7 p.m., facilitated by Carla Thomas. Social events coming up Thursday. We've got a noon Zoom. It's on the second and fourth Thursdays at noon, facilitated by Ariana Abel. There's a monthly movement and dance party on the last Wednesday of the month, February 24th, with Amanda Sporell. And we've got Friday happy hour is coming up next on March 5th. Small group connections, we have Silver Sisters, Book Club, Red Tent, Soul Matters, Small Group, Circle of Life. All of those are coming up throughout the month, and next Circle of Life is on first Thursday, so that will be March 4th. Our building remains closed through the end of June 2021. If you're interested in helping craft our Facebook Friends Group guidelines in keeping with our commitment to maintaining right relationship, we're having a listening session immediately after this service, so you can just stay in the main room and not go to the breakout if you want to attend that. And let's see, then we have a board meeting on Thursday, February 11th at 7 p.m. and then banter with the board on Sunday, February 14th after the service, where I expect we'll again have a little bit of discussion about the Friends Group guidelines and where we are with those at that point. During our ministerial transition, Zena Stewart is head of staff. If you have any comments or concerns regarding church staff, which includes Alex, Ben, Brian, Josh, Ken, or Star, contact Zena. Recognition of their work well done is always welcome, of course. And then these are the contact informations for staff and Zena's contact. The pastoral care team is available along with our ministerial intern, Josh Berg. Peter Gable is serving as chair of the pastoral care team. If you or anyone you know is in need of pastoral care, contact Peter. The minister's discretionary fund is available for Northwest members and friends who are experiencing financial hardship, particularly during this COVID-19 pandemic. Confidential financial assistance can be made, requests for those can be made to Peter Gable, Cheryl Goldberg, or Zena Stewart. Pledge payments can still be mailed to the church. The mail gets picked up every week. Your pledge payments can also be paid online using a credit debit card or an ACH bank transfer. You can help us defray costs by opting to cover the processing fee. The processing fee is credited toward your total tax-deductible giving. And our February plate collection, Boys to Men Summer Camp. Half of plate collections during this month of February will go toward Boys to Men Summer Camp. And we are delighted to welcome Eric Harris here to tell us a little bit more about that. The camp is a nonprofit organization located in Detroit, Michigan since 2008. Their target area is inner city male youth with deceased parents, incarcerated parents, single family homes, and those in need of help navigating life from the age of 9 to 14. So I'd like to welcome Eric Harris.
Good morning. I'm Kelvin Wallace. I'm here on behalf of Eric Harris for Boys to Men. Boys to Men was started 14 years ago with the purpose of helping young men starting from 9 to 14 years of age with deceased parents, incarcerated parents, and just single families that have endured as just everyday challenges of life. So where we began 14 years ago, we began with a two-door Cavalier taking a road trip to the borderline of Michigan for camping. And my partner, we made a commitment asking, would you go with me to take these young men to camp? He said yes. So I said, well, this is going to be our contribution. So what we did with the young men, we noticed what we have them for 5 days. We have their undivided attention, and as you would very well imagine, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds don't sleep. So we're up all day. We initiate a schedule from starting them on basics like camping at the building. We set up camp, we set up the kitchen, and then we go to activities. The type of things that we deal with these young men, we identify each one has a personal need. We try to deal with problem solving, kids that are withdrawn, uh, have aggression problems, can't follow instructions, narrow focus, and actually some young men that just have problems challenging with reading. We address all those things initially with the kids. And as you get to spend time with them over the 5 days, everyone has something they need to challenge and work on. So we get their attention, and the ways we specifically get their attention is we distract them, we take them on outings and to expose them. And these gentlemen, they're not used to going anywhere. I remember my very first trip, kid had me really laughing. He said, "Mr. Wallace, there's no party stores out here." I said, "Right, it's nothing out here." So we take them and we expose them. We take them out. We take them fishing. We take them zip lining. We take them to museums, aquariums, Muhammad Ali Museum. Last year, prior to the COVID, we took the young man to the Detroit City Airport. Everyone had a flying lesson with a pilot. It was 2 kids to a plane. And so these type of activities distract the kids, get their attention, expose them to the possibilities, and then we have their ear. Because in this day and age, we have to meet these young men where they are and not where we want to be, so we can talk to them. So you can imagine the good thing about having them for an extended period of time is because kids will bring up issues that you would never think of and issues that they would never discuss at home, because they realize after a short period of time that they have your ear and they have your confidence. And so once we get that, then we can motivate them, expose them to some ideas and some possibilities, and to increase their desire to do things. Um, First of all, well, most important, the issue of dealing with these young men is to get them to not only do problem solving, but to get along and to band together and help one another, which ironically works pretty good from the time we get them in the car to about the second day. These gentlemen, they're up and at them, they're energetic. And after the third day, they pretty start to wear out because they don't sleep at night most of the time. They're up having a good time. 14 years ago, I didn't see the possibility of going anywhere but to the borderline of Michigan. But since then, we've graduated for the last 3 years. We had the opportunity to go to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, to pitch our tents and our campgrounds on the rivers, Pigeon Forge, fishing at midnight, and take them to different activities during the day. It's a lot of activities there, the Rocky Mountains, nature, the different exhibits that they have there, camping, old style camping. It's just a lot of different distractions that young men as well as adults would never be privy to if they didn't get out of their comfort zone. It's very important to get these young men out of their comfort zone so we can get their minds open to discuss certain things. Our intention here during the COVID time, you may wonder what we've been doing other than camp, which is generally held in August. We get with them quarterly, and during that quarterly time, we ask their parents or their guardians for access to their grades so we can monitor them to see what their progress is, which we do on a normal basis prior to the pandemic. As well as that, we can't get join with the kids under normal circumstances. So what we do is we get them individually and take them out. Young men are always hungry. So we go somewhere, and phenomenally, just it is when we go camping and ask them, where would you like to eat? Phenomenally, I always say McDonald's. So we go to McDonald's and discuss what's going on currently, grades and different challenges. Other young men may have problems at home, deceased. Like I have a young man, they have 8 people and 8 kids, one mother. So a contribution and time with them is to bring food over, also take the kids out to eat, do some homework with them. Unfortunately, deal with homework virtually if we can't do it in person with them. But just to step in and give a helping hand to those that would need, as someone gave me assistance when I was coming up. So as initially when we started this program, question was, what is your contribution? And so we make a contribution, and if you don't, all we ask for is some assistance for those that do not have time to actively get with us and join us in these activities, such as going out to, like, we do community board ups, and we'll go to a senior citizens home and do assistance. We just ask for assistance, whatever assistance a person can give us. Are there any questions anyone might have?
Thank you so much for telling us more about it. I don't see any hands raised right now. So thanks for a great explanation of what all you're doing. And in the chat box is the text for people to give online for the plate collection, which will be split with Boys to Men. Thanks with the camping. Thank you so much, and what really wonderful work that you've been doing. We really appreciate it.
Your time.
Thank you.
Eric, and also I have your information in a newsletter, so folks can look on the link and get more information about your organization as well.
Our opening words today come from Julianne Lepp, open to unexpected answers. A large gray rock is cracked down the middle, where many small, colorful stones are caught. We seek our place in the world and the answers to our heart's deep questions. As we seek, may our hearts be open to unexpected answers. May the light of our chalice remind us that this is a community of warmth, of wisdom, and welcoming of multiple truths.
Okay. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing. Bring to us beauty, vision, joy.
Thank you so much. Looks like we got a little shy, but that's all good. It's wonderful to see all of you. We have Joys and Sorrows are up next. So if you have a joy or sorrow to share, just raise your hand and Ben will unmute you. Thank you for sharing. We know that there are also joys and sorrows not shared, and we will keep all of those in our heart as well. Yes.
Good morning. Today I want to tell you a story about Santiago. Now, Santiago was a man who didn't have a lot. He lived a very simple life. In fact, his home was under a large sycamore tree at the base of an old church. Now, one night, Santiago had a dream. And in this dream, a small child came to him and said, Santiago, you must go to the pyramids. You must go to the pyramids in Egypt and dig. And there you're going to find a great treasure. Now, the first night Santiago had this dream, he dismissed it. It was just a dream after all. But the second night that he slept, the child came to him again. Santiago, you must go to the pyramids. There you will find a great treasure. And again, he dismissed the dream. And the third night, the child came to him in his sleep, again saying, go to Egypt, go to the pyramids and dig, and there you will find a great treasure. Now, Santiago still wasn't convinced, so he sought out the counsel of the wise woman in his village. And upon telling her that he had had this dream 3 times, she said, Santiago, you must go to Egypt. You must go to the pyramids and dig and find this treasure. And so Santiago, with hardly any means, a simple man, a simple life, made his way to Egypt. He walked. He took rides from strangers. He struggled to get there. And once he arrived, he was completely out of money and he needed work. So he took up sweeping floors in small restaurants and villages, and eventually had enough money to make it all the way to the pyramids. But once he was at the pyramids, just as he was about to dig at nightfall, some robbers came and they were going to take everything that Santiago had. And Santiago said, please, please, gentlemen, I have traveled so far. I had this dream and a child told me I had to come all the way from across the waters to Egypt to dig at the pyramids. Now, upon hearing this, the robbers thought Santiago was delusional. And so they decided not to rob him after all, because who could take something from a man who would believe in dreams? And so they left him alone. And he dug and he dug and he dug and he dug all day and all night. And the next night, the robbers showed up again and said, "It's still you? You're still here? You're not going to find any treasure." And Santiago said, "Oh, but my friend, I had the dream. And the wise woman said to follow the dream." And the robber said, "Well, if I had followed my dream when a child came to me, I would have gone all the way across the waters to some old sycamore tree by a church and then dug there and found treasure." And Santiago thought how very strange that the robber had decided to describe exactly where Santiago was from. And so the next day he began to travel back, and he made his way home. He curled under the sycamore to fall asleep in the light of the full moon. And just as he was about to sleep, he thought, "I shall dig." And it was there, in his very original home, that Santiago found his treasure. Now I wonder, what is the moral of this story? To follow our dreams, to heed the messages of children and wise old women, to find a beloved community in a band of robbers who would guide you back to the very place where you always belonged? Is it to take a risk, to take a trip? Is it to stay exactly where you've committed to being? I wonder, where is your treasure? Where will you make a commitment to beloved community? Where will you root and dig and thrive?
We laugh, we cry, we live, we die, we dance, we sing our song. We need to feel there's something here to which we can belong. We need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone. But most of all, we need close friends we can call our very own. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a need to be together. We have our hearts to give. We have our thoughts to receive. And we believe that sharing is an answer. A child is born among us, and we feel a special glow. We see time's endless journey as we watch the baby grow. We thrill to hear imagination freely running wild. We dedicate our minds and hearts to the spirit of this child, and we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a time to be together. And with the grace of hands, they will linger on, and we believe in life and in the strength of love, and we have found a place to be together. We have the right to grow. We have the gift to believe that peace within our living is an answer. We seek elusive answers to the questions of this life. We seek to put an end to all the waste of human strife. We search for truth, equality, and blessed peace of mind. And then we come together here to make sense of what we find. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a joy being together. And in our search for peace, maybe we'll finally see, even to question truly is an answer.
What do Unitarian Universalists believe? From the UU Church of Nashua, New Hampshire. Every individual should be encouraged to develop a personal philosophy of life. Everyone is capable of reasoning. We do not need any other person, official, or organization to tell us what to believe. We should be able to present religious opinions openly without fear of censure or reprisal. All people should be tolerant of the religious ideas of others. Truth is not absolute, it changes over time. Everyone should continue to search for the truth. Everyone has an equal claim to life, liberty, and justice. People should govern themselves by democratic processes. Ideas should be open to criticism. Good works are the natural product of good faith.
How did you get here? How did you get here today? This question would make a lot more sense if we were all in the same room, but we're not. So humor me and go with it. You all made a conscious decision to come to Northwest this morning, but what decisions in the past led you to be here on this day? Were all of those decisions your own making, or were some of them accidental? How did you get here? Let me illustrate with a few incidents from my own life. 1964, I had finished my third year at Wayne State University with barely passing grades. If I lost my student deferment, I would surely be drafted. In order to avoid duty in Vietnam, I joined the Navy. 1965, I completed the Navy's basic electronics school and filled out a questionnaire regarding my next duty station. The first choice was East Coast or West Coast. Being young, away from home for the first time, and not too adventurous, I chose the East Coast to be closer to Michigan. 1968. My 4-year enlistment was just about over, and I was talking to a fellow sailor who was from Sacramento. He tried to convince me to go to California when I was separated from active duty. I thought about it, and for the reasons mentioned earlier, I declined. 1982. 9 years after my first marriage, I filed for divorce and moved into a rented room in Farmington. I came to Northwest one Sunday morning in September to see what it was all about. It was there that I met Diana, and it was there that we were married a year later. So much for my story about physically being here today. But what I hope you will share during the breakout rooms is how you arrived at where you are today, spiritually. What events led you to being a Unitarian Universalist? What makes you want to gather regularly with other like-minded people? How did you come to believe what you believe? My parents were not churchgoers, and growing up, I didn't think about religion at all. As I look back, the beginning of my religious awakening started when I was 7 or 8. As I walked to school with a neighbor, he asked, "What are you?" I knew the real question was, "What religion do you practice?" I thought it an odd question and was somewhat embarrassed to answer truthfully that I was nothing in terms of religious identity. A few years later, my brother and I started attending a Baptist church because we would get an airplane ride after attending 13 consecutive Sundays. True story. After going to that church for a while, I was once again asked by a schoolmate, "What are you?" Now I could answer with conviction, "Baptist." But even then, I was neither an enthusiastic follower, nor did I disbelieve what was presented in Sunday school. I was not in a questioning mode then. If the adults said it was so, I took it as gospel. You should excuse the expression. My brother and I continued attending church because it had become a habit, not because either of us firmly believed in the religion. When I was nearly 13, we moved to another city and our church going stopped. So much for religious zeal. And yes, we did get the plane ride. Fast forward to 1992. I had been attending Northwest for 9 years and hadn't really explored my religious or spiritual beliefs. I hadn't really thought about what I believed, or at the very least couldn't express it coherently. All this time I'd been attending a UU church, and I hadn't been asking the questions necessary to get the answers I wanted. Okay then, time to get to work. One thing I learned very early in my time spent at Northwest is that ours is the faith of questions, not answers. Ask 10 UUs a question, and you'll likely get 10 different answers. Amazingly, none of those answers will be wrong, because everybody has their own truth. That is the fundamental difference between Unitarian Universalism and other religions. We are not given a creed to accept in order to be a member of the church. We are encouraged to question, to think, to grow spiritually. I have heard some of our church members state that they've been UUs all their life, but didn't know it until they attended a church like ours. I have been a member of this church since 1983. My initial impression of the people here was that of a friendly and open group. They were genuinely interested in me and what brought me to Northwest. The past 37 years have not changed my opinion. Some members are gone and new members have arrived, but the congregation is just as warm and caring as I remember from my first visit. The members have an unfailing ability to comfort those in need and provide food and assistance if needed. But sometimes when I am asked, "What are you?" or some version of that, my answer brings the conversation to a screeching halt. Perhaps some of you have had that experience. Several years ago, my brother and I had dinner with our 2 cousins, sisters, who are close to us in age. We had a wonderful evening, reminiscing about childhood memories of Christmas Eve at our aunt's house in Highland Park. During dinner, I mentioned more than once either friends or activities at Northwest. My older cousin, who was a born-again Christian, gave me a big smile and asked me what church I attended. I didn't hesitate to tell her I was a member of a Unitarian Universalist church. Her smile remained, but our conversation came to an abrupt halt. I didn't really want to get into an in-depth discussion of what I believe, but I'm happy to say I was prepared to do so. So, after years of contemplation, what do I believe? In terms of religion, in the mainstream sense, I'm still a none. I find the stories in the Christian Bible fanciful at best, and I have read how the Bible has been interpreted to reinforce the beliefs of religious and political leaders. Despite my exposure to the Baptist Church, those beliefs never made sense to me. One of my sources of wisdom is the Gospel according to Merriam-Webster, which defines religion as, quote, a identity of some individuals. If pressed, I would say my beliefs are somewhere between agnostic and atheist. I see a fine line between the two. The first deals with belief, while the second deals with knowledge. I find myself walking that line, sometimes slipping to one side or the other, but those labels are unimportant to me. My essential belief is that everyone has their own truth. I have the UU faith to thank for figuring that out. My ideas have changed over the years and may well change in the future. I am comfortable in my own skin now, and I have a greater sense of exactly who I am and how I got here. I've given you some insight into my journey that brought me here today, and I would guess that some of you are thinking about your own experiences. But what if I had not joined the Navy? What if I had chosen a West Coast duty station? What if I had moved to Sacramento? What if I had never gotten a divorce? What if I hadn't gotten out of bed this morning? Clearly, if any of these decisions, and a myriad of others, had been different, you would not be listening to me today, nor quite likely would I be exactly who I am now. I might be rich, having retired at 50, or I could be standing at a freeway exit ramp holding a cardboard sign. I think we all know that it is counterproductive to dwell on what might have been. What's done is done. Let us rejoice in our being together now in this place. In closing, I ask you again, how did you get here?
Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. guiding me on. Greet the infinite sea before me. Sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Thank you very much. I just, before the closing words, it sounds like some people can hear the music and some people can't. I could hear it all perfectly fine. So I'm not sure what was, I have no idea what was going on with that. So, so we'll try to figure that out. I'm not sure if that's a problem with each person's individual setup or what is the issue with that. The other thing that I wanted to say, Ralph, thank you so much. Actually, this triggered an idea that I was chatting actually with Josh Berg about, and it feels like we need a coming of age for adults. It feels like that would be really fun. So if anybody's interested in that, shoot me or Josh a note, and it would be great to get a group together and talk about what that might look like. Maybe aging in grace or something like that. We give it some new name, but I just think of that coming of age program that we have for our youth, and that would be then we don't really seem to process our thoughts about religion as adults too much. Our closing words are adapted from Rachel Naomi Raymond. Hidden in all stories is the one story. The more we listen, the clearer the story becomes. Our true identity, who we are, why we are here, what sustains us is in this story.